On their anniversary, her husband said he had a surprise for her. He led her to the edge of a rooftop pool. She was blind, and what he said next would change her life forever. He promised a surprise, but the only surprise was basically a one-way ticket to the bottom of the pool. As she fought for her life, she heard her husband talking to another woman. It was her best friend. Her friend gushed that he was so clever. She said that once the blind girl drowned, they would get all of her money. It turned out they'd planned this all along. Her husband had only married her for her huge inheritance, which she couldn't access until she turned 25. He confessed he never loved her and callously said she deserved to die. But when she opened her eyes again, she wasn't dead. She'd been reborn. Sent back to the day of her wedding, 3 years earlier. The memory of her own murder was still fresh. She remembered marrying him, a poor nobody, against everyone's advice because she believed he loved her. She remembered her best friend's fake warnings, pretending to care while secretly plotting her demise. She remembered the car crash that took her sight, a crash she now realized wasn't an accident. Now, reborn and with her sight restored, she started noticing terrifying changes. She was losing her hair. Bruises were appearing all over her body. She realized in horror that even before they tried to drown her, they'd been slowly poisoning her for years. She ran downstairs, her heart pounding with a mix of terror and rage, and found her husband and her best friend wrapped in each other's arms. When they saw her standing there, eyes wide with fury, their faces went pale. They thought she was still blind. Now her deadly game of revenge was about to begin. Her husband announced he was home, but he didn't come alone. While his wife pretended to be asleep, he brought another man into their bedroom and told him she was asleep and he could go in. This husband wasn't just cheating on her, he was handing her over to another man. She fought back, escaped the room, and raced for the front door, only to find her husband waiting. He grabbed her from behind and locked the door. With a sinister smile, he whispered that he knew she could see. He seems to care, but his eyes hide a dark truth. But the husband doesn't know his wife isn't blind at all. Every day is a performance. She pretends to be helpless while secretly searching for a way out. Her husband, growing suspicious, puts her to the test. He dangles a fork in front of her face, but she doesn't flinch. For a moment, he seems to believe her, but the suspicion never leaves his eyes. Later, while he's away, she finally gets her chance. She sneaks into his office, frantic as she searches for evidence. Tucked in a drawer, she finds it, a contract about her mother's inheritance. Her heart sinks when she sees her own signature at the bottom. He'd tricked her, using her blindness against her to steal her fortune. Just as the devastating truth hits, the door creaks open. The mistress stands there with a smug look. She asks what the wife is doing there, her voice dripping with venom. The trap has been sprung, and now the wife is cornered. This friend thinks she's being kind by bringing her sick bestie some healing soup. But on closer inspection, she pulls something out. That's not an herb. It's a cockroach. The reason she's been secretly poisoning her is unbelievable. She tells her friend that she looks so much better lately. But the friend knows the truth. She's not getting better, she's getting sicker. And it's all because her best friend has been putting roaches in her medicine every single day. She plays along, pretending to be grateful, but she's already figured out the twisted plan. So she decides to expose her. She accidentally drops the bowl, and the cockroach spills onto the floor. The friend is shocked, thinking she's been caught. But then she gets a suspicious look on her face. She thinks, wait a minute, wasn't she supposed to be blind? Could she have been seeing this whole time? She waves her hand to test her, but the wife doesn't even flinch. The friend is relieved her secret is safe, but now she's furious. She thinks that if poisoning her isn't enough, she'll destroy the one thing she loves most. She sees her friend's adorable cat, grabs a pair of scissors, and plans to kill it right in front of her. Because if the friend really is blind, she won't be able to see a thing. But just as she's about to strike, her blind friend grabs her arm, snatches the scissors, and holds them to her throat. The fake friend is terrified, stammering that she was just cleaning up. But the game is over. The wife asks if the friend thinks she's been good to her. Pressing the scissors closer, she then asks why her friend is trying to kill her. This woman trusted her best friend completely, but she never realized the food she'd been fed every day was part of a sinister plot. Her friend's sweet words hid a dark secret, and she was slowly being turned into a prisoner in her own home. But the woman isn't a fool. After her friend put a cockroach in her medicine and tried to kill her cat, she knew something was terribly wrong. She realizes she's been trapped, with no way to contact the outside world. Seeing her chance, she runs out of the house and begs a neighbor to borrow her phone. She's desperate to call her father for help, but every call fails to connect. She doesn't understand why no one will answer. Just then, her captor appears, face a perfect mask of concern. She sweetly asks what she's doing out here. The tension is unbearable. But the trap is about to be revealed. The neighbor, seeing the woman in the red dress, smiles and says how good it is to see Mrs. Smith. The woman freezes. She asks what the neighbor called her. The neighbor is confused. She clarifies that the woman is Mrs. Smith and asks if the wife isn't her blind maid. In that single moment, the whole nightmare becomes clear. This woman wasn't her best friend. She was the mistress who'd stolen her husband and was now trying to steal her whole life. With the truth finally out, the blind woman is no longer a victim. She walks up to the impostor, who desperately lies, saying the old neighbor has dementia. But the lies are useless now. With all her pent-up rage, she slaps the fake Mrs. Smith across the face. Her voice is as cold as ice as she says the woman isn't just a mistress. She states the mistress actually wants to be the master of the house. The impostor's face twists in shock as she realizes she's been caught. The woman then looks at her with a chilling smile and asks, what if she let her be the new Mrs. Smith? The blind woman offers to let the mistress be the new Mrs. Smith, flipping the script on her husband's lover. The mistress scoffs. Sure, she's already won. But the wife's calm smile hides a deadly secret. She warns the mistress to watch her back, saying her husband is so good to the mistress she has to keep an eye on him just in case someone tries to interfere. Just then, the husband returns. The mistress immediately plays the victim, telling him his blind wife was snooping upstairs. Suspicious, he rushes to his office to check the hidden cameras he installed to watch her every move. They pull up the footage but see nothing out of the ordinary. When they check the most important camera, the one in the study, they find the screen is black. The wife's cat had chewed through the wire, erasing all the evidence. They realize with horror that this helpless blind woman has outsmarted them. Furious, the husband confronts his wife. The mistress accuses her of trying to sabotage them. They demand to know why she snuck out to make a phone call. But just as they corner her, the doorbell rings. A package has arrived. The woman smiles sweetly and tells her husband it's a surprise for their 3rd anniversary. Inside is a custom-made suit she ordered for him. She masterfully uses the gift as a perfect alibi, leaving her husband speechless and the mistress fuming. Later that night, the villains reveal their real plan. They're only waiting for her 25th birthday, when she'll inherit her mother's entire fortune. Once the money is legally hers, they plan to get rid of her and take everything. But when they pull out the inheritance contract, they find it's been tampered with. Her signature is already on it. The husband realizes he's been played. A text flashes on his phone saying the 3-year period is almost up and it's time to reel in the net. He looks up in pure terror, finally understanding he was never the predator, he was the prey. Her husband suddenly insists on a late-night hospital visit to check her eyes, with his mistress standing smugly by his side. The blind woman knows this isn't a checkup, it's a trap. If they discover she can secretly see, her life is over. At the hospital, she's cornered. She feigns a headache, trying desperately to escape, but his gentle words are a chilling threat. He won't let her leave. To make matters worse, he reveals the doctor as his childhood friend, confirming her worst fears. Everyone's in on it. As the doctor begins the exam, the wife is terrified. Her inheritance and her life depend on him believing she's still blind. The husband and mistress watch, sure their trap will work. The doctor shines a light into her eyes, and her fate hangs in the balance. Then the doctor delivers a shocking diagnosis. He says congratulations as the villain's faces fall. He explains there's good news. Although she's still blind, there's a chance she can regain her sight. He hands them a prescription, a brilliant lie that saves her life. Little do they know, moments before, she had secretly grabbed the doctor's arm and begged him to save her. Thinking they're alone in the hallway, the villains begin to reveal their true plan. They will wait until her upcoming birthday when she inherits her mother's massive fortune. And once the money is theirs, the husband coldly says he will send her on her way. But they didn't realize the wife was hiding just around the corner, hearing every word of their murder plot. Just as they are about to catch her, the doctor pulls her into a dark room, saving her from being discovered. And in the safety of the darkness, he reveals the final, terrifying truth. He whispers that she has to be careful because he suspects the man she married is not her real husband. He says he thinks the man is an impostor, and the real John may already be dead. Just as the villains corner the blind woman, the doctor comes out of the room holding a tray of medicine. He calmly tells them she got lost, giving the perfect cover story. The husband is suspicious, but the doctor's lie holds. The husband asks why the doctor didn't answer his calls, a subtle threat in his voice. The doctor, unfazed, says he was busy. The husband reminds him they've been best friends since childhood, a chilling demand for loyalty. He then turns to his wife with a sickly sweet smile and promises to take care of her 24/7. It's not a promise of love. It's a promise of imprisonment. He leads her away, leaving everyone to wonder what will happen next. Back home, the husband's cruel plan is finally revealed. He puts a contract in front of his wife to sign away her mother's entire inheritance. When she refuses, he throws the papers in her face, his mask of kindness finally cracking. He tells the mistress their plan is working perfectly. They'll buy a life insurance policy in her name and make sure she has a fatal accident. But they celebrate too soon. On their anniversary, her husband leads her to the edge of a pool, ready to carry out the plan. He tells her he has a surprise for her, his voice dripping with false affection. But she's one step ahead. She whispers she has a surprise for him too, then masterfully sidesteps him. Later that night, she escapes to the bathroom and texts the doctor, her only ally. She confirms their suspicion. The man she's married to is an impostor because he lacks the identifying mole on his neck. Now she knows for sure he's not just a cheater but a liar, a thief, and possibly a murderer. Just as she's processing this earth-shattering revelation, the mistress bursts into the room. The mistress demands to know what she's hiding and tries to snatch the phone away. But the wife is done playing games. She slaps the mistress hard across the face, showing she's not the helpless victim everyone thinks she island. The mistress shrieks and plays the victim. The husband walks in and sees the commotion. The mistress immediately claims his wife attacked her for no reason. But the wife looks at her with ice in her veins and asks a simple question: is the cockroach soup tasty? The mistress freezes, choking on her lies and collapsing in pain. With the truth exposed, the mistress finally confesses her evil plan and admits she was always jealous and wanted to take her place. But the wife's revenge is just beginning. She warns the mistress this is only the start, and the mistress looks on in terror. She knows every lie, every betrayal, and every attempt on her life will now be avenged. Later, the doctor texts her with news that changes everything. He has discovered her father didn't just go on a trip he's been missing for 2 years, ever since the impostor took over her husband's life. Now the stakes are higher than ever. It's no longer just about reclaiming her inheritance. It's about finding her missing father and bringing a possible murderer to justice. The final battle has begun.